Office workers of Reddit, what is the most cringeworthy reply all email you've ever seen? I'll go first. First year of college, an international student kept deciding to hit reply all instead of the regular reply button right next to it on our school's email system. Dude was sending everything, from simple questions to details about personal emergencies that were going to make him miss a class, and even sensitive info about group projects that us other classmates should not have been privy to. Worse still, the teacher was replying just to him, but I guess because her replies stayed as part of the overall email thread on his side, he kept sending his replies to everyone in the class. After about 3 weeks of this, I finally sent him an email letting him know we could see everything he was telling the teacher. After that semester, I never saw him again. Two of the partners at my old firm were having a not very discreet affair. Both were married to other people. Partner A was in charge of the summer associate program and sent an email around the firm with information on the summers, names, schools, etc. Who would be mentors for who, dates of events, all of that. Partner B replied all to a 500-plus person law firm. Attorneys, paralegals, secretaries, everybody. Quote, "I'm going to pork you so hard later," unquote. It was hilarious for several reasons, including his ultra-seductive use of the word pork. An email was supposed to go out to all managers telling them to deny any rumors about the company being sold, and it got sent company-wide, which started a rumor that the company was being sold. We were not being sold, which only made it worse. I guess someone asked our CEO, so he was just trying to stay ahead of it, and HR misunderstood his request, so sent the heads up company-wide instead of just to the managers. Then, they denied the rumors way too hard. It was a random series of failures that just cascaded. I used to work at a law firm, and one day an email went out to everybody, about 40 people, that was about a specific case and had very little relevance to my job position, so I ignored it. A few minutes later, I got another email from a different attorney with a snarky response. Well, an argument started between these two attorneys, still replying all to the office, and after about 6 or so emails, a third attorney wrote, "Yeah, well, my dad can beat up your dad. By the way, you've been sending this to the whole office." I was working in my office during the Iraq War, and I get an email from some random private. "Y'all motherfuckers need to shut the hell up." Puzzled by such a blatant attack, I checked who this guy was and who he sent it to. I want to say he sent it to everyone in every command in Iraq, Afghanistan, and a few other places. And some say that private is still doing push-ups to this day. I work for a huge corporation. Someone in HR meant to email a list of everyone's salaries and bonuses to another HR coworker, but instead she emailed it to everyone in the company. IT sent an email within 20 minutes for everyone who received the first email to delete it and not forward or speak of the contents if they read it. I read it, saw the contents, and was happy that I wasn't being short paid. Oddly enough, the email disappeared from my inbox within an hour. I didn't know IT had that kind of power. This happened in my job too, twice in the last year, by the same HR person. Both times, IT locked everyone out of their email accounts and deleted the email. A couple coworkers read said email, and I found out throughout them that I was being paid about $5 less per hour than the guy who held the exact same position I did. He had been hired with no experience, while I had over 2 years in the position. That was a real kick in the nads. Did you use that to negotiate a higher pay rate based on your experience? I did not. I have a strategy that, even if it doesn't work, I have a fallback plan for. Shortly after all this happened, I accepted a different position within the company and received a $1.75 raise. I have essentially been working my way through every position in the company. I now replace any department lead who goes on vacation or leave of any sort. I no longer have a direct superior, aside from the director himself, and I've shown to him that I can master any position in less than a month, regardless of having any background experience in said department. I have another job lined up that will pay me much more. It's with family and I can start anytime I want to. I plan on making myself essential for day-to-day operation, and I've already gotten a few of our corporate supervisors and other directors within the company to put me on their radar. Once they finally start recognizing that I'm an asset to the company and dedicated and hardworking enough to deserve a raise, but humble enough not to demand one, I will put in my resignation. It will pan out one of a few ways. I will either be offered more than what they'll be paying me at the new job, or I will just take the new job and they'll regret it. Either way, I'll be satisfied with the outcome. This is not the industry that I would like to pursue long-term work in, so I'm just kind of having fun at this point. If it becomes a successful career, great. If not, I won't be upset. I just like the challenge. It's just retail. Ultimately, I'd love to work in the post-mortem industry. Dude mass emailed one of those Great American Gas Out things to all 6,000 or so employees. The CEO did a reply all saying something like, "Exxon is one of our biggest clients, and using company resources for your own political agenda is against company policy." Reply all to a big group is one thing, but I don't understand how companies of more than 50 people still allow anyone to use the all employees group address. Yeah, I've heard of big email sendouts like that crashing servers because everybody tries to respond saying, "Hey man, you're replying all, stop." And it just obliterates everything and the system can't keep up. You'd think a big company like that would have an IT guy or team capable of ensuring that no single employee can respond to all employees, including executives, in the corporate system. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some idiot speaking into a microphone on YouTube. About 12 years ago, I worked in a small office, and a coworker was telling a boring story to the whole office. My boss went to email me to complain, I was his sounding board, but they accidentally replied all to another company-wide email. His message sent to the entire company. I wish Donna would have emailed me the story so I could delete it. She saw the email a few minutes later, threw her keyboard up in the air, grabbed her purse, and ran out of the office. My boss had to profusely apologize the next day. There was a horrible car accident on the busy road in front of my office. It involved several cars, a truck, and a daycare van. Just from looking at it, there was likely fatalities. Two of my coworkers had a gallows humor email going with dark jokes about the tragedy. One of them tried to loop in a third coworker and somehow accidentally looped in the whole company. One guy got fired, the other two got written up, and both eventually left because it was obvious that they were no longer promotion material in the eyes of the bosses. IT deleted the email chain from everyone's computers, and we all had to go to 2 hours of sensitivity training. I really hope that humor was their way of coping with what they saw, and not just them being completely horrible people, because joking about something like that, especially with kids involved, good god, that... they fucking got what they deserved. I used to work for a company that was a vendor for Abercrombie & Fitch. I would send emails to different people that work at Abercrombie every day. One day, I sent a request to someone at the company and got an out-of-office reply that basically said, "I'm no longer with this company, screw their management team, screw this place, everybody here sucks." I laughed my ass off for a few minutes, then called a buddy that works there. Pretty soon, the whole company was sending emails to this account just to read the reply. It took about an hour for their IT department to get wind and take it offline. I was a temp in a very large law firm for a bit. One day, a new lawyer was hired, and HR sent out the standard email to everyone introducing the new guy and congratulating him on his new position. New guy then replies all and asks the HR person if his benefit package pays for a hair transplant procedure. This one isn't that bad compared to some of these other stories, but it's my only personal experience with this sort of thing. I was interning for a large political party in my home country in the summer of 2018. Some political staffer, we'll call her Jessica, sent a mass email to every other staffer working in Parliament, and in the hundreds of local constituency offices across the country. The content? Are they making chicken paninis in the cafeteria today? Jessica. She'd clearly meant to send it to a friend of hers in her own office, but ended up blasting her lunch plans to hundreds, if not thousands, of political staffers across the country. It was a hot meme for a week or so, then died down without a fuss. I never did find out, though, if Jessica got her chicken panini. We had this guy from the main office, Pete, who comes up from time to time. He's an arrogant a-hole. I decided that I couldn't stand that smug prick within literally 30 seconds of meeting him. Anyway, we had quite a bit of turnover in our department since Pete's last visit, so our boss wanted to schedule a lunch so he could meet everyone. So, his admin sent out a mass email to see who might be interested in lunch on Thursday. I replied back that I wouldn't be coming because I had a conflict, and then I added, "Plus, Pete's kind of a f***wad." I hadn't realized that I had hit reply all until I heard the scattered laughter all over our floor. Our boss came over, invited me into a conference room, and said, "I'd appreciate it if in the future you'd let everyone decide on their own whether or not Pete is a f***wad." Thankfully, Pete wasn't on the email. Hey, sometimes you just gotta speak from the heart. I heard about someone where I worked that meant to send out an email to the whole department, a couple dozen people, to let them know that for their birthday they brought in donuts for everyone. People do this all the time. This guy, however, selected the email list for the whole company instead of the department. They were getting replies from employees in other countries saying things like, "Well, I don't know you, and I can't travel there just for donuts, but a happy birthday." My university used to have every single email in our directory for anyone who had a school email. A dude once accidentally emailed the entire school. About 10,000 emails later, the madness had stopped. It was the hot topic for quite a while. This guy emailed his teacher a document with a poorly written, half-assed essay asking for help. A lot of the emails were written back to him giving him advice. Most were asking how to get off the email list. Others started side conversations with other people in the university, and some were actually trying to hook up with each other. It was just crazy. After that day, my university took away that feature. Right when I transferred to university from community college, someone did a reply all to a random email from the business school. I saw the original email and then the first reply and immediately turned off my notifications. By the time I looked, I had over 800 new emails, with a final one from the dean saying any further responses to that thread would earn a student a disciplinary meeting before the semester even started. I love screw-ups like that. That's the same thing that ended the reply thread for us too. The president said that everyone who replied will be pulled from school. It was wild. Similar thing here. Someone got a hold of the address that emailed the whole university. I woke up to 30,000 emails, half of them saying, "Please remove me from this list." And, "Guys, they can't remove you, stop replying." We also got subscribed to a ton of adult sites, and had an Apple account made which still occasionally makes transactions in Russia. It crashed my phone, the emails were so constant. Working in the claims department for a huge insurance company. One time, a claim handler sent out very personal customer information to the entire company. Every single employee, including the CEO, security staff, building staff, and even the cleaning staff. So that's bad enough. But then we have this other guy who decided to hit reply all to that email, asking the first guy why he sent him this message, blissfully unaware that the first guy sent it to everyone in the company. So now the first guy responds, still unaware of what happened, telling the second guy he has no idea how that email went to him. So this email thread goes back and forth, reply all, these two geniuses investigating what the heck happened for like 10 replies. They finally decided that it was a computer glitch. I do not know how they still have jobs. I'd have just fired them for not knowing how reply all worked. Had a management peer send out a long screed about the state of the men's bathroom on our floor. Very descriptive. Went out to all the men on the floor, and a whole bunch of customers. HR sent a terrible email about restroom cleanliness to my entire office once. They sent an email complaining about all the poop stains on a toilet seat, and used feminine hygiene products that were placed on the trash receptacle instead of inside it. They even decided to attach pictures of both problems along with the email. I'm not sure of any repercussions to this email, but there were a lot of unhappy people in our office after opening the attached images. Well, they should keep the restroom cleaner. I don't see the issue if only employees were on the email. The problem is that most people probably don't want to receive images of poop stains or used feminine hygiene products. A guy from my training class got fired for poor performance. He knew for months it was coming. On his last day, before the obligatory "this isn't working out" meeting, he sent an email to every single person who reports to our work site, which is hundreds. And this email said nothing more than, "Remember, no one ever expects the Spanish Inquisition." I guess everyone thought it was prudent to hit reply all to send back their confused responses. For hours, my poor inbox was getting flooded with their stupid replies. A design artist at a print shop I worked at 10 years ago, let's call her Z, had always been one of those flaky but only just good enough to keep types. She'd create files that looked fine to customers and on screen, but required crap tons of pre-pressed screwery to make them printable. Zero real technical skills, when it should have been half her job. One day, a little after lunch, a company-wide email from Z to her husband came through where she described waiting with glee for the opportunity to purposefully screw up a big repeat yearly job right before she planned to quit 8 months later. A lot of print jobs are on a yearly cycle with local businesses, and this happened in February, referring to a $40,000 job that came around every October. As IT relief, I got called in to check what happened, and sure enough, Z's other emails sent from her workstation email address to her husband described other stupid things she was planning, and referred to one of her husband's friend who worked for a rival print shop, so it was clear that it was a bit of a sabotage and probably upcoming poaching. Z was fired less than half an hour after that email was sent. One thing I didn't mention to my bosses was that the email to all the staff was sent when I knew Z was out of the office, and that her original email was sent before she went to lunch, originally only to her husband. Our other designer, a quiet mouse type who could actually do the work, had seen the earlier sent emails at other times when she needed to use Z's workstation, and copy-pasted this completely revealing email into a new email to the whole company from Z's workstation. I just told her later in passing that I got her email about Z and gave her a thumbs up. Now that's great. I'm honestly not even upset that they invaded her privacy by looking through her emails, because if you're gonna send things like that from your work email on your work computer, come on. Like, this girl Z knew what she was doing, and she should have hit her tracks better. She got what she deserved. People like that are the worst. We use instant messaging, and there have been a few times where someone messages the entire chat group complaining about someone else's work or just them being generally bad at their job. Usually that's quickly followed by a oops, as if that's gonna make it better. You have to own that jazz. If someone calls you on it, you just answer back with, yeah, I think Becky in accounting is crappy at her job, so what? Now we hop into the rapid fire segment, 4 stories too short to make a full entry out of, but too good to be left out. And because there weren't actually a lot of one-liners between these 2 Reddit threads I used for this video, it'll be a shorter rapid fire with some longer stories in it. So let's jump in. People would type their password inside group chats thinking they were logging into a particular system. Not worst, but best was when the school sent out a safety notice that a cougar had been seen near campus and someone responded, "Don't worry, that's just my mom." Guy sent a, "Listen babe, I just need to finish one last report, then I'll pick you up and screw your brains out in the car, okay? Sounds awesome, right?" Yeah, until we noticed the address he sent it to was a subscription service for fake relationships. My ex managed to send out an email to all the bioengineering students at my school with a cool video about nematodes. It was a rickroll. X-rated cartoon. Got a dozen people fired. Anyone who had forwarded it to someone else. A colleague was messing around with Thunderbird and changed his sender name to F Your Mouth. He forgot about it and replied with it to our corporate ISP. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. The threads used are linked in the comments below. I'm ReddList. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.
We parted in peace as Frank pointed out the path to my prey before making his way back down the hill.